These are 10 of the best freestylers in the world, and together with them, I'm going to teach you every reset in Rocket League. My name is Nevee, and I'm a professional freestyler myself.
Madre mía, no se ha podido preparar nada. ¡Qué locura! ¿Qué estoy viendo? ¿Qué estoy viendo?
But before we get into the video, make sure to like and subscribe so that you don't miss any future videos. This is the second part of the project. If you haven't watched the first video where I covered another 16 types of flip resets, make sure to watch it as well. But now, let's move on to the first reset of the video. Let's start things off with an easy one, the Musty flip reset. There's no better name for it as it is the exact flip you do in a Musty flick, but into a reset. If you don't know what a Musty flick is, then it's basically this. It is the most common flick in the freestyling world. To do it, jump and tilt your car back. Once you reach the point where your car is facing the camera, you want to backflip. And yeah, that's it. Now that you know how to do the Musty flick, then you should already be able to do stuff like these. I was just joking if you couldn't tell. The easiest way is to do it from the wall. Go on the wall and brake for just a little bit, so that when you flip, the ball will slowly start falling. Do not use much boost when doing the flip, only when the ball is really far. Just keep practicing it and I really think you'll be able to do it. Now the more tricky way is doing it from an Horsedash Reset. If you don't know how to wave dash reset, then I recommend watching the first part of the project where I explained it thoroughly. Do the wave dash and wait a little bit so that you have more space. It is a longer flip, so you'll need some space for it, which is why it's easy to do it from the wall. The last way you can do it is by landing backwards on the ceiling. Tilt backwards when you jump to the ceiling and you'll end up in a position like this. Make sure you keep distance from the ball because then it's easier to boost into the ball rather than boost away when you're too close. Once you land on the ceiling, jump off it and flip when you're under the ball. That is how you do the Musty reset, but I have to warn you, this video will include ones that are way more difficult. Okay, let's slow it down for a bit. Let me elaborate on some things. I am Nevee, I'm a professional freestyler, and as I said before, this video will teach you to do every reset in Rocket League at the moment. Also, a lot of new types of resets have been discovered just in the past year. This makes me think that the tutorial will be outdated in some time, so make sure to notify me in the comments if there are any other resets you would want tutorials for. To help you practice, I also created a training pack that involves all the different setups you might need for different resets. But more about that at the end of the video. I truly tried my best to explain every mechanic in this video, but if there are any questions you have, ask them in the comments as I will read them all. Okay, I'm glad we got this straight. Now let's continue the video. Believe it or not, the community found two ways of doing the so-called reset pop. One is used purely in freestyling, whereas the other is used mainly in ranked. Now I'll teach you the one used in freestyling as I am pretty experienced at it. This type of reset is used mainly for recoveries. If the ball is just about to drop, you can reach it and hope that the pop goes high enough to continue your shot. The main thing here is how you get the reset so that after a front flip, it pops really high up. You want to get the reset diagonally, with your car's nose being lower than the back wheels. Then immediately after you get a reset, you want a front flip with just a little bit of cancelling involved, and only at the very end. There isn't much to teach here. The way I learned it was by watching other freestylers do it and noticing patterns as to when I should reset bump. It's really timing based. The only thing you don't want is the ball moving away from you. You want it to be either not moving at all or simply heading towards you. Just keep practicing it and your recoveries will improve a lot. Pop reset is one of the most common mechanics nowadays, but there aren't many tutorials on it, so let's cover it right now. And I am a freestyler, so I do not go for these often, but I do know how to get the really good ones. The flip you do here is essentially just an upside down speed flip. The most crucial part when it comes to doing this reset is matching the speed of the ball and letting the ball fall onto your car. In other words, you want to go at the same speed as the ball, which can already be done by air dribbling, but also you want to get the reset as the ball is about to drop. This is because for this reset, you want to minimize the distance between you and the ball. When you go with too much momentum, the ball will bounce off your car and you won't be able to pop it. Whereas if you wait until it starts dropping, the ball will smoothly fall onto your car, which is exactly when you want to pop it with a speed flip. Another significant aspect is the angle of your setup. You don't want to aim at the net, but a bit to the side, so you can get that perfect pop. So as you can see on the clip, I'm going more to the right side, and I aim to get the reset more on the right edge of the ball, to then pop it to the left and still maintain control. That's pretty much it. Keep practicing this and take into consideration the tips I gave you, as this mechanic is one of the most effective when it comes to ranked nowadays. Now it's time for another guest. One of the craziest comp clip hitters at his peak, who now is making a comeback to Rocket League. He is currently a part of the one and only Pulse clan, and his mechanics are undeniable. Please welcome Pulse Entity.
What's up everyone, I'm Pulse Entity, and today I'm gonna teach you how to do the Maktuf Muncher, so this one. Basically, you just dribble the car, so you put it like on the top of your car, maybe a little bit to the front, you jump and do a Maktuf reset. So you kinda try to balance it on the middle, maybe a little to the front, you jump, and then you just do a Maktuf. So the movement is just a Maktuf, and then like you immediately flick. So what you do is once you get the reset, like that, you just flip. To get a powerful one, you should try to flip to one side. So right here, I'm gonna flip to the right once I get it. Never mind, that's to the left. That was to the right. Like, that was pretty powerful and got a lot of height. And that's basically what you want to do with any type of reset flick. So there, I got the reset, and I just immediately flip to the right, kind of diagonal flip once I got it, and then it just flicks it like that. So yeah, this is the movement. You just do a Maktuf basically, but then you gotta get the control down. So when you're dribbling it, you just get control first, and then jump, and then do it. It's gonna take a while to get down, but you can also do it from a bounce, but that's a little less, you know, that's a little less cool, in my opinion. It always looks cooler when you're just dribbling it and just get a really good one. And yeah, a tip on how to get the reset flicks to go zoom is just doing the reset flick like I just did. Like, let's say you get it here, you flick to the right, let's say you get it here, you flick to the left. Like you do with any other Maktuf, you position your car with the one arrow and do the reset with the other. So I would highly recommend using both directional arrows. It's going to help you a lot with mechanics, not just this one, overall. So here what I'm going to do is, like, I position my car with my right arrow, my arrow right, and then with the left one I do the flip. So when you position your car like this, you should try it a couple times before getting the ball in your car. Then you want to add the step where you position it like on the top, and then you jump, then you get in the position. This is for arrow right, by the way, and then you do the Maktuf with arrow left. So you do this, and then yeah, when you combine all the steps, you can probably get it down pretty easily if you can already hit the Maktuf. Before trying this, I should definitely go like practice the Maktuf a lot, because, well, it's kind of essentially what you need in this mechanic. Oh, that was a good one. I'll explain it step by step. Okay, so Maktuf Muncher. First thing you want to do is get your car into the right position by basically tilting it diagonal and backwards. Before doing this, you should definitely learn how to Maktuf, because, well, you're gonna need it. Ball placement, I would probably put it like just on the top of your car, maybe a little bit to the like forward. Then you just tilt it like this. You use the other arrow to flip backwards. If you're using arrow left for your Maktuf, you should probably flip the ball right. It just gets more of a flick out of it. So yeah, that's a Maktuf Muncher. I hope you guys learned something.
Okay, let me quickly summarize what Pulse Entity just said and add a bit onto that. The Maktuf Moncher is basically a flick you do from a Maktuf reset off the ground. What I've noticed personally is that if you flip to the opposite side of your Maktuf, these are the most powerful ones. So if you tilt to the right on the Maktuf, like me, then do a front diagonal flip to the left, and vice versa. The reason why a diagonal flip works the best is because you want to flick it with one of your front wheels. To do this mechanic, you have to learn the Maktuf reset first, which was thoroughly explained in this exact video, so just watch that and learn it first. You can also do it from a 360 Maktuf, which for me is more stylish, but it's based on that same concept. Now let me just briefly discuss the other munchers. I want to quickly say that I won't be delving into details for these reset flicks because I was initially hesitating if I should even include them, because they're pretty much resets that have already been discussed in this video but off the ground, and they're more of a flick. But I figured a bunch of you might want to learn these, so here's a quick tutorial. The Cabbage Moncher is the OG Moncher, also known as Stall Flick or Seba Flick. It was popularized years ago by an ex-CCH lead in Nixus Seba. So to do it, you should first learn a Breezy Flick because the setup is almost identical. Basically, tilt your car back and hold Tornado Spin with arrow right, and it should look pretty much like this. Then at one point, let go of the arrow and backflip. And if you were to do it into a flick, then this is what it would look like. Now once you get that down, do that setup into a heli reset. You once again want to diagonal flip so that you flick the ball with one of your front wheels. Okay guys, I promise I was playing crossbar challenge, I wasn't even trying to score. But yeah, do a heli reset and diagonal flip the second you get a reset, and your wheels are no longer stuck to the ball. Otherwise you'll jump off the ball like here. That's basically it. For me, it's the most consistent one, but it might take some time to learn it. Okay, let's just quickly bring up the last reset flick. Okay, this one I have the least experience in because I only tried it a little bit when it was at the peak of its popularity, when an ex-Pulse freestyler, Leo Gabin, popularized it. Essentially, this can be done of any muncher you want. The name comes after a Rocket League sideswipe mechanic, which weirdly pops the ball once you backflip. Same thing as here. Unlike in the other munchers, here you want to flick it with both of your front wheels by doing a backflip cancel with perfect timing. This is very inconsistent and it is purely about the timing of your cancel, so you do need to get a bit lucky. Okay, but to summarize every reset flick we discussed, this is the movement for the Maktuf Moncher to both sides, this is the 360 variation, this is the Cabbage Moncher or the Stall Flick, and this is the purple shot. I'm not the best at any of these, but I hope you all could learn something new. The normal front flip reset is one of the easiest resets in the game, but doing it upside down makes it so much more difficult. The upside down front flip also seems easy, but the issue here is that the flip is very long, and some might say, well, if the flip is too long, then just cancel it early. The problem is that you cannot cancel the flip. If you do, then you just won't be able to get a flip reset. So essentially the flip is quite easy, but getting the reset itself is more difficult. You need a lot of space for this reset, which is why doing it from the ceiling is the easiest option. You want to get to the ceiling quickly, jump off it, and just front flip towards the ball. You want to flip so that after the front flip, you get the reset when the ball is just about to start falling. What some freestylers also do is they do an empty jump to boost themselves onto the ceiling. This allows you to get to the ceiling faster, which is crucial in this type of flip reset. Second way some people do it is from that Wavedash reset, where you're positioned like for the Arsenal reset. This one is a bit tougher, as you need to get the Wavedash reset perfectly so that you have space and your car is not tilted. Whereas when you jump off the ceiling, your car will always be straight. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another guest. The fourth freestyle champion who in 2022 won the freestyle tournament in front of hundreds of thousands of people watching during RLCS Worlds. Had arguably one of the greatest primes in Rocket League history, and his impact in the freestyle scene is undeniable. Welcome, Pulse Faith.
That Faith on the blue side of the board free place. He will be taking home the grand prize of $50,000. That is such...
Have you ever wanted to learn how to do heli resets but vertically? Today, I'm going to be teaching you how to do backboard resets or BBRs. For those who don't know me, hey, my name is Faith. You may have seen me in several freestyle tournaments, most notably at Worlds in 2022, where I became Ford Freestyle Champion. I am 20 years old, I've been playing the game for 9 years, and I've been on Team Nitro, and I am a current member of the Pulse Clan. I also do YouTube and TikTok content. With that being said, let's just get straight into the tutorial. To do this reset, it's basically just a heli reset with a few more steps. If you don't know how to heli, don't worry, I will teach you, but it definitely does help a lot. So step 1, jump and pick a direction to spin. Either steer right or steer left. I do my backboard resets by steering right. Alright, step 2, tap the opposite air roll and jump at the same time. This should make your car stall, like this. If you steer right, tap air roll left, and if you steer left, tap air roll right. If you're having issues with this and you're on controller, try turning your controller dead zone up or changing your controller dead zone shape to square. But if you're on keyboard, like me, this should be fairly straightforward. Step 3, after you stall, press the opposite air roll to balance yourself out. Yes, this means you will need to have both air rolls bound to do heli resets and BBRs properly. Once you have this down consistently, that is most of the difficulty of backboard resets right out of the way. Step 4, now let's actually learn how to backboard reset. The trick with backboard resets, regardless of your setup, is to hit the ball at a slight backwards angle. If you get to a backboard reset with your car parallel to the wall like this, the ball will quickly fall down and you'll lose control. But if you angle the nose of your car away from the ball on the wall, like this, every touch you get will allow you to maintain height easier. This is one of the bigger mistakes when I see people first learning how to do backboard resets. Step 5, get a reset on the ball. Make sure you don't have too much momentum because the ball can easily get away from you. Step 6, keep spinning and wait for the ball to hit the wall. Make sure you are slightly under the ball because your stall will seemingly push you upwards into the ball and allow you to maintain height. Step 7. Whenever the ball comes at you, stall just before the ball hits you. Try to maintain a backwards angle if possible, and use your boost as necessary here. If everything goes right, you should have hit your first backboard reset. Congratulations. Just like that. So now you've done your first backboard reset, or you're just watching the whole video first. Either way, how do you practice backboard resets? Let me give you my recommended guide. The main difficulty for most people when starting out is getting the heli stall down consistently. To practice this, load into a private match with unlimited jump, boost, and match length. Then drive off the ceiling and do as many heli stalls as you can. Try to get from one side of the field to the other. Doing this helped me massively when first learning how to do heli resets and just stalls in general. To practice backboard resets, I believe Nevee made a training pack to practice backboard resets, which includes all types of setups. That should be somewhere on screen, or I imagine Nevee will let you guys know. Damn, I'm kind of popping off right now. As one last word of advice, backboard resets involve a lot of playing around with timing. Timing of when to stall, when to boost, and when to hit the ball. So feel free to mess around with timings, experiment, and try not to get frustrated. Not every backboard reset is built the same. So that is it for the backboard reset tutorial. We went over how to heli stall, how to do backboard resets, and how to maintain height while doing so. I also gave a recommended guide or learning process for how to do BBRs. So now you guys know how to do mostly vertical helis. My name is Faith, and I hope this tutorial could help. Thank you for watching.
Now, I believe Faith perfectly explained how to backboard reset, but some of you may still wonder how to set it up. Well, the most common setup is to do it from a reset Musty flick. Some also play a particular style dedicated to backboard resets, which is called wall freestyling. In this style, instead of doing a reset Musty setup, they typically go to the ceiling, doing various tricks, and then catch the ball from someone else's pass, and then redirect it to the backboard. It is one of the coolest freestyling styles, but I'm not going to teach it in this video. However, a link to a different tutorial for wall freestyling can be found in the description. But coming back to the setup, the most effective way nowadays is to do it from the corner. You want to toss the ball up, but also a little bit towards the net. You don't want to be too close to the backboard because you won't have space for your resets after the Musty flick. Get the first reset sort of from the side to get in a position for the Musty quicker. Start spinning just before the first backboard reset and don't spam the stalls. but make sure they are controlled and consistent. You want to predict when the ball will hit the backboard and stall right after it bounces towards you. The old setup people used to do was from the sidewall, around this boost pad right next to the corner. Nevertheless, the reason why it is pretty much obsolete is because from the corner you're able to get the boost, which makes boost management slightly easier and you're simply closer to the backboard. This means that you have more space and don't have to use as much boost to get closer to the backboard. And I hope I was of some small help. Now let's move on to the next reset. This is the Jakze Reset. It was named that because of a comp player who did that reset and posted it on Twitter, not knowing that countless people had done it before him. Nevertheless, this tweet made freestylers want to try it and incorporate it into their shots. By some, it is also called an insta reset because you get a reset and then instantly flip into the ball. But let's slow down. How do you do it? From my learning process, I can tell you that this reset is really easy as long as you know one trick. What I discovered is that it is literally all about the setup and how you get the first reset. The flip you do is just a completely cancelled front flip. I'm not sure if you can see it, but the more your car is facing the ground, the more flat it gets after the flip. My car is literally facing the ground, and this is crucial because when your car is flat, that's how you get the flip reset. Now the most important part is that first reset. The secret to the Jakze reset is waiting a tiny bit longer in the air before you get the first reset. Because look what position you're in when you waited a bit before the reset. Literally what I just showed you on the ground. After you catch the reset, wait like half a second before your flip. If you flip too fast, it is very easy to accidentally do a dash reset. Make sure to toss the ball straight up because if it's moving away from you, then it's harder to catch the reset. Another way some people do it is from a dash reset, but here it's even harder not to accidentally dash when doing the Jakze reset. If you want, you can also do it from the ceiling. It's all about the angle of your car because once again you want it to be pretty much facing the ground. And then flip when you're really close to the ball. I think this reset is one of the cleanest if you do it properly because of how smooth that pure flip cancel looks. I gave this reset a 6.5 out of 10 because even though I find it quite easy, it requires some knowledge about flip cancelling. It is not easy to be consistent at it, and it's tricky not to accidentally wave dash reset. And it's even harder to chain them and do more than just one. The backwards Jakze reset is significantly more difficult than the regular one. It's not because of the flip, but because you're backwards. When you're backwards, everything is sort of less intuitive, and you have to get the first reset so that the nose of your car is facing away from the ball. A normal Jakze reset is a very cancelled front flip, whereas a backwards Jakze reset is a very cancelled back flip. To do it, try it on the ground first. Tilt your car backwards like for an Arsenal reset, but then backflip cancel. That's pretty much it. So once you understand it a little better, you can try it in the air. Just like in a regular Jakze reset, waiting a bit before getting the first reset should make it easier. But to be honest, I rarely catch myself doing that when doing the backwards Jakze. There are several ways to do it, so let me cover each. Remember how I told you to tilt your car as if you went for an Arsenal reset and didn't do a backflip cancel? Well, that's because many people actually do it from an Arsenal reset. Think of this reset as sliding under the ball. After you catch the Arsenal reset, you want to backflip cancel, but what you might also see when I do it is that when doing the cancel, I'm also spinning to the side like in a heli reset. That's a really important thing as you want to make use of momentum. If you don't start spinning while doing the cancel, you'll take ages to recover and it will be harder to do more after the reset. I'm not sure if I was the first one to score the backwards Jakze reset in game, but I was the first one to post a shot with it on my socials. So the way I initially did it was this very cool movement. It's done sometimes by freestylers to go for heli resets. If you've watched the first video from the project, then you might have seen it when I explained different setups for heli resets. It's essentially an arrow switch. So you start with your worst arrow, so the one that isn't your main, and then actually transition to your main. Nevertheless, the flip and the motion stays the exact same. It's just a bit more fancy. There's also this way, which is probably the easiest to get consistent at. It's from a dash reset, which means you don't have to catch the first reset weirdly. The only issue here is that it's so easy to accidentally do another dash reset instead of the backwards Jakze. To avoid it, try to just flip before you have contact with the ball. Otherwise, it's gonna look like this. The last way is to do it from the ceiling, and to be honest, I haven't seen anyone do it. If you're good at this reset, then you can play around with it by doing it off the ceiling. This This guest is currently one of the most mechanical freestylers whose control was always on a different level compared to others. He is one of the first freestylers to join an RLCS team as a part of their freestyle roster, which is Genji Mobile 1. Now you might know him from his clips that he commonly posts on TikTok. Please welcome GGM1 Shay.
Shay Reset tutorial. Let's do it. You want to land exactly like that on a ceiling. It's so important that it's so imperative that you land like that. It makes the entire process a lot easier in terms of that flip itself. And you can change some resets after it like that if you get it I mean, yeah, I love doing the Shay reset, obviously. No bias at all. When you land like this, all you do, literally all you do after you land like that is jump down and flip. That's why landing on the ceiling like this is so important. Because I don't arrow or anything after I jump down from the ceiling. I literally just jump, flip. It's actually a straight back diagonal flip. So to practice the flip itself, start from the ground, tilt upside down and do a back diagonal. It can be back left or back right. It doesn't matter. But the whole point of it is to do a back diagonal off the ceiling. Then voila. And yeah, that's how you do it. But yeah, that's how you do the Shay reset. Honestly, most of it, I explained the basis of it with everything in this game and just in general. It'll take time to learn it, get the grasp of it. When I first thought of it, I accidentally with 360 Maktuf. With time, you'll get it. I think it's once you get used to doing a back diagonal like this, you'll eventually just get it down. But yeah, keep grinding and thank you.
Now that's pretty much it for the way Shay does it. Once you rotate your car by 90 degrees on the ceiling and do a back diagonal flip, you should be right under the ball without even cancelling the flip. Now Shay always included that 90 degrees rotation in his reset, but what many people don't know is that there are many more variations of the Shay reset. The Shay reset is essentially a back diagonal reset, and back diagonal resets have been a thing a long time before Shay popularized it, and there are many variations of them. Let me cover most of them. This is the way Proptical used to do it, which I tried to replicate in this shot from 2024. Instead of rotating by 90 degrees like Shay does it, he rotated by about 45 degrees, which required additional flip cancelling. It was really common in 2024 for the advanced freestylers to randomly do that flip in the middle of a reset chain. I was one of the few that did so here are two examples. There's also this flip, which is really similar to the diagonal Maktuf reset that I covered in the first video. And the last way is this, which is pretty rare and unique. Basically, after you dash reset, you instantly back diagonal into the opposite direction your car is facing. This reset has so many names, it's insane. Australian reset, Aussie reset, Evample reset, but all of them refer to the same type of flip reset where you stall over the ball. If you don't know how to stall, I will cover it briefly as it has been explained throughout the project for resets like stall resets, helis, or backboard resets. To do a stall, hold directional arrow and steering toward the opposite direction of your arrow. So if you hold arrow left, then move your analog stick to the right. Do that in the air and just jump. That is how you stall. To do a perfect stall, you should also use a little bit of the arrow that you don't use for stalling. Basically, when you stall using arrow right, you'll move a tiny bit to the right and you can cancel it out by using arrow left. Now let's get back to the reset. To understand the reset better, you can do it on the ground, but I would recommend practicing already in the air. You want to toss the ball like always with a decent pace, but then speed up after you hit the ball so you can quickly get above it. Once you get above the ball, do a perfect stall. Make sure the ball is still going upwards when you stall, because when you stall your car stops in the air, but the ball keeps moving towards you. Once it touches 4 wheels of your car, then you get a flip reset, and that's how you do it. If you want to do more stuff after it, then I'd recommend already start spinning right before you'll get the reset, so that you can make use of the momentum. As you can see on the clip, I'm already rotating to the left, even before I got the reset. It's quite simple, just keep going for that same shot again and again. The Sideflip resets may seem simple, but it's actually really difficult to get them on purpose. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty bad at them, but I know someone who isn't. The world's best freestyler, by many considered the greatest player to ever touch freestyling, the one and only Proptical.
Yo, what up guys, it's Proptical. I'm a freestyler for Genji Mobile 1 and Pulse, and today I'm going to be showing you how to do the Sideflip reset. It's actually pretty simple to get like one of them, and when you start chaining them, that's when it gets pretty difficult. I've been freestyling since like 2020, and I became one of the first pro freestylers to join an esports team, which is Genji Mobile 1. In order to do this reset, you kind of have to get in a position with the ball to where you're at, like, imagine the ball's right here. You have to be like in this direction from where the ball is. Let me stop it real quick. You got to be like right here, and then you got to side flip. So if you're gonna side flip to the right, you're gonna want to go on this side of the ball and then side flip like that, and do this in the air, of course. And on this side, just same thing, just go to the left this time. So basically for the setup, what you're gonna want to do is, the easiest way for me is to do a dash reset on the ball. If you guys don't know how to do that, then I'd recommend learning that first. You can also do it from a basic reset setup like this. And of course you could just also do it from wall, just like, yeah, that. But pretty much the easiest way for me is definitely getting a dash on the ball. Right here, there we go. My learning process for this mechanic was pretty simple. I just practiced this over and over and practiced where to be in the ball, and from there I learned how to chain it by holding my air roll left after the first reset. I learned that I could do another one right after. Here's a double side flip reset. 1, 2. If you notice, I air rolled to the left after the first one to set myself up for the second. You can see it right here. I air rolled to the left again just to set myself up. You kind of got to get used to like doing the first to start chaining them. It gets pretty complicated after the first. So in order to get like progressively better at chaining it, you just have to figure out the position you need to be in. Like, you got to figure out where you are and where the ball is and where you need to be for it to work. Right there, I can't do another one because I just couldn't get myself in a position. Like, I couldn't possibly get myself in a position, you know. Some common mistakes I see is 100% the positioning that people get in for the first reset. A lot of people mess up the positioning, and that leads to a weird looking reset attempt. The most important thing with a side flip reset is the position you're in, because with a side flip, unlike a Jakze or a Maktuf, you can't cancel it. You can't cancel a side flip flip. So getting in the exact position is the most vital part, and that is why it's one of the harder resets. In summary, first you need to either dash on the ball or get a normal reset setup like this. And then what you need to do is you need to position your car to where if you side flip, you'll get a reset, like right here. That's perfect right there. Let me do another part where I position myself so you guys can see the perfect position. Let me do a perfect position here. Right there. So if I side flip, I'll get the reset. There we go. For the third and final step, all you got to do is just side flip. And you're chilling. Like that. And there you go. A little freestyle. Okay, that's a big Musty. Okay, extra tips for the more advanced freestylers on how to chain it. After step 3, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to air roll the way that you flipped to get to the position once again, and you're going to want to learn how to get that exact position like you did for the first, but do it again, and that's where it gets pretty difficult. 1, 2, alright. That was a clean 2. Here, I'll just try to score 2 for the final bit. 1, 2, 3, no, okay. 1, 2, there we go. I couldn't set myself up for a third, but there's 2. And I hope you guys enjoyed that tutorial. Thank you, Nevee, for giving me the opportunity to share it with y'all, and have a good day.
The barrel roll reset was popularized on TikTok recently, and I don't know if it was just me or if it was the tutorial, but it ended up being one of the most confusing resets for me to learn. But now that I understood the flip better, let me teach you how to do it. It is essentially a back diagonal flip like in a Shay reset, but from a different position, which gives it that really cool motion that looks almost like a side flip. The flip is really easy once you understand the positioning and how to rotate your car. To learn it, firstly go to the ceiling and move your analog to bottom left, or hold A and S if you're on keyboard. Then you'll want to do a back diagonal flip, which you will cancel at the end. Once you got it from the ceiling, do it on the ground, so jump, flip your car using arrow, and repeat that same motion. To do this reset, you will need space, so that's why it's the easiest for me to do it from a wave dash reset. If you want to learn how to wave dash reset, then I recommend watching the first video from the project. Now, from a dash reset, it is the same exact thing. You just want to position your car exactly how you did it on the ground. Once you get better at it, you can start doing it more from a 360 Maktuf setup. But instead of backflip cancelling like in the Maktuf resets, you want to back diagonal flip. It should look pretty much like this. That's how you do the barrel roll reset. It is difficult, but at the end of the day, it's just a back diagonal flip from a different position. Keep practicing and you'll learn it eventually. The TKO Reset has recently blown up on platforms like TikTok as well as Twitter due to a content creator that the reset is named after.
Oh my goodness. Yo, clip it, chat.
And I think it's only right to present to you another guest, the one and only TKO, who is a streamer and a competitive pro with really advanced mechanics.
My name is Nathan, also known as TKO. I stream Rocket League like every day, and I am trying to go pro. Some achievements I've accomplished is top 32 RLCS, stuff like that. If you want to do this reset, you have to be pretty mechanical. Like I would say this mechanic is only for higher ranked players. And basically, like how you do this reset, you have to hit the ball up, straight up, and you have to go for a reset like as fast as you can, so you have space to go for the TKO reset. But after you get that first reset, you want to get a perfect first touch, and when you get that first touch, you want to flip at the same time, and you're going to do a diagonal speed flip cancel. Basically, it's all on like one little motion. You gotta get a perfect first touch, speed flip cancel, and if you do it right, then you get a reset like immediately again. And the most important thing about the mechanic is the first touch, pretty much. And if you want to get consistent at it, you just gotta, get a training pack and set it up, just do a wall to air dribble and just do it over and over and over again. And also like look at my TikTok and check out my clips where I do the TKO reset and just study it and see how I move my car. And some common mistakes that I see when people try to do my reset is literally just the first touch, because you have to perfectly get that first touch for it to like all line up and get another reset like instantly. So it took me to like a few years to get it consistently. And it's a lot easier to get that first touch when you have like the Zen bind. So you have arrow left on left trigger. That means you can slowly turn left, and means you can slowly turn your car into that perfect first touch. It's hard to get that first touch when you just have a dynamic directional, kind of like what most players have. That's pretty much like the secret to the reset, honestly, is just having that Zen bind where you can like slowly and precisely get that first touch. For beginners to learn, First of all, do not try this mechanic if you're like gold or platinum. Like if you don't have mechanics at all, do not go for this. I'm sorry, respectfully. You have to be like confident with your mechanics if you're to go for this. Like it's very advanced. And the second tip I have is just like when you hit it off the wall, you want to go for that reset as fast as you can. And then after you get that first reset, you want to set yourself up for the TKO reset. So pretty much like get that reset as fast as possible, and then you have space to like go for it. And then the third tip I have is just practicing that first touch over and over again, and aiming your car in a certain way where your flip lines up into another reset like instantly. That's like the 3 best tips I have.
Now, I don't want to sound biased, but these tips really helped me. Normally I struggle with rapid resets like these, but TKO's tutorial really helped me. To summarize, it is pretty much a speed flip flip cancel. You just want to lift your left front wheel up to get that delicate touch. So get the first reset quickly so you have more space. Lift your front left wheel to get that corner touch in the middle of the ball, and you should flip right under the ball where all of your wheels connect. Taking inspiration from the TKO reset that recently blew up, many players attempted to do it with different kinds of flips. Then a bunch of people decided to experiment with the current resets in the meta, but add an additional touch before the flip, just like in the TKO resets. In this video, I'll cover only 3 variations of the TKO resets, as they are the only ones that I've actually seen some people do. The Frontflip TKO reset is similar difficulty level to the regular one, just because of how simple the flip is. The only hard part about it is getting that perfect touch, which is really inconsistent. The only advice here that I can give you is keep practicing it in the air and focus on making that first touch as light and delicate as you can. When you do it lightly, there is a higher chance that you get the reset. I found this reset thanks to Pulse Flights, who posted it on his Twitter. Look at this reset. This, I guess you could call the Chozen reset. That is just the name of the TikToker that I saw doing this reset, and I'm going to use it for the sake of this video as it's shorter than upside down front flip TKO flip reset. That's essentially what it is. Once again, it's all about the delicate touch that makes this reset more difficult. So you get the flip reset, then turn your car around using arrow until you're in this position, and then front flip right when you touch the ball. Make the touch as light as you can and just hope it pops up perfectly so you can get a flip reset. This is by far the most difficult variation that I will cover in this video. If you guys want a separate video in the future that will focus just on the variations of the TKO resets, then let me know in the comments. Now, let's move on to the last variation that I find the easiest one. Okay, the last TKO variation will be the one of the Jakze flip. This was first introduced by the lead player of Pools Clan, Pools Josh, as he was messing around with the current resets and just added an extra touch before them. You will need to learn the Jakze reset first in order to do it, and if you don't know how to, then I recommend watching the first part of tutorials for all resets, as it was covered in more depth. But if you want literally a 10-second tutorial, then here it is. Jump and do an inverted tornado spin, so hold arrow left and steering left, or arrow right and steering right. Then stop at about this angle where your car isn't entirely to the side, and also the nose is pointing downwards. When you're in that position, then do a front flip cancel and start steering to the left if you do it the same way as me. If you did it right, then just tapping a bit of extra arrow left should be enough to keep your car flat. There you go, that's how you Jakze reset. If it was too fast for you, then I actually recommend watching the first video I made. Now in the TKO one, you want to get an extra touch. And before you do that, you want to ensure that there's a bit of space between you and the ball. That's why I recommended to do it from a wave dash reset, but of course it can also be done from a regular reset. After the dash, make sure you reposition yourself by doing an extra spin. That's probably the most crucial part if you want to get more consistent at it. Make sure the touch is very delicate and you don't use much power there. Then after that, just continue with your Jakze flip and you should get it, or at least be close to getting it. It is cool and can be a big flex if you can do it, so I hope these tips could help you. The beautiful Musty reset is arguably the most difficult reset in the game. It is a fairly popular flick in the freestyling world, but literally nobody does it into a reset, and if so, then not the way I do it. I've only seen a few people do it off the wall or in the air when they have a ton of space, but I figured out how to do it in a reset chain. To learn this reset, it is indispensable to learn the beautiful Musty flick first. It was a flick popularized by comp clip hitter named Beautiful a couple years ago. Think of it as a twisted Musty. The most important part is to jump and get into this position that you can see on the screen. It doesn't have to be perfect because the whole motion is done with the cancel. As you can see, I don't always get into that exact position, but around that area. When you're in that position, you will want to backflip and immediately cancel it. And at the same time, do a tornado spin with arrow right. If you do it the opposite way, then of course do a tornado spin with arrow left. Then at the very end of the duration of your flip, you'll want to let go of the cancel, which will pop the nose of your car up. That's what gives you that power on the flick. Now, what I figured out is since the uncanceling pops the nose of your car up, you can get a flip reset from that. Now, I'm not sure of it, but I think that when you uncancel at the very end of the flip, then the car pops up more aggressively. If you learn to do these really cancelled beautiful Musty flicks consistently, then doing it into a reset shouldn't be that difficult. I recommend doing it off the wall first and then moving on to doing it from a dash reset. This reset is easily one of the hardest in the game as it requires literally mustering flip cancels, so it is for the very advanced. It is really hard to teach, but I hope I could help you just a little bit. This is the Horsedash Reset. It is one of the most recently discovered mechanics. A mechanic called the Horsedash has been a thing for ages, and it's this weird dashing mechanic which is about dashing forwards and backwards endlessly. It has recently been discovered that you can actually do it on the ball, which is easily top 3 hardest resets to do in Rocket League. Because of its difficulty, I'm also inconsistent at it, but I'll try my best to explain it. To do it, you genuinely have to be advanced and experienced in freestyling. Before learning it, I would recommend learning the setup, which is a dash forward and an immediate backflip cancel. It helps you with the insanely fast flipping forwards and backwards, and not only that, it is very easy to accidentally do a Horsedash reset from it if you position yourself well. Try to get the first dash as late as you can and on the back edge of the ball, like here because you want to get in front of the ball. When you did the dash, immediately backflip and cancel. After the backflip cancel, you can do whatever you want. Now that we discussed the easier setup, to do the Horsedash reset, we have to do it at more of an angle. And very importantly, toss the ball straight up on the setup. Once you do so, then do the same dash as in the setup I taught you before, but at more of an angle and immediately backflip. Once you do so, you should hopefully get 2 dashes, 1 forwards and 1 backwards, which is a Horsedash reset. It is a very advanced and inconsistent mechanic, so do not get frustrated if you can't do it instantly. Another way popularized by Moosh is doing it from a gyro reset to a dash backwards, which looks like this and is even more difficult. Nevertheless, the regular Horsedash reset was popularized by Shay. I hope my explanation could help you, and let's move on to the last reset of the video. Before we get to the last reset of the video, I'd like to quickly tell you about the training pack that I made for y'all. It is a training pack made specifically for freestyling with setups that you can do various types of resets from. It consists of 25 shots, and if you're confused what each shot is for, then you can pause the video and see. The code for it can be found in the description as well as on the screen right now. If you want to, then try it for yourself. Now it's time for the ultimate reset. Now the last reset in the video will be the Nevee Reset. The reset is named after me because I'm the one that discovered that you can get consistent at this very strange flip and do it into a flip reset. Now a lot of people call it a failed Jakze reset, which is quite true because that's initially how I thought of this reset. I was doing a Jakze reset and then my finger slipped and I thought, why not get consistent at it? I've heard a lot of pro freestylers say it is really difficult, but not as difficult as the beautiful Musty reset. However, personally, I would say both of them are at a similar difficulty level. The reason why I rated both of these resets a 10 in terms of difficulty is not because I discovered both and therefore they are super difficult, but because they require literally mastering and perfection of flip cancels. I feel like only the very experienced players will be able to get consistent at it, because it just comes with tons of practice. Okay, but how do you do it? Think of it like a twisted Jakze reset. If you don't know how to do this reset, then go to the first part of the tutorial for all the resets, as that's where you will learn how to Jakze reset. So you'll want to rotate your card 90 degrees to the side. For me, it's the left side. Then you will want to front flip cancel. Now, if you press steering left after the flip, you'll get that heli motion, and that's basically how you Jakze reset. But here, you want to do a tornado spin with arrow right. So once you rotate 90 degrees to the side, front flip cancel, and tornado spin with arrow right, this is what it should look like. Then, to make it possible to get a reset, you'll want to let go of the cancel, which will give you that really cool motion. And that is essentially how you do this flip. A cancel Jakze with arrow right tornado spin. Once you get a grasp on the flip itself, it should be really straightforward to do it into a reset. What you have to know though is that the duration of this flip is really long, which means you will need a ton of space for it. That's why I do it mostly from the ceiling, or when you go for that arsenal reset and then dash. If you want to do it from the ceiling, go to the ceiling at a regular pace, jump off it, and then do the flip when you're slightly under the ball. That's pretty much it. That is how you do my reset. Personally, I think it's easier than it looks, but to be honest, I can't think of a reset that would be more complicated than this. But essentially, you just need to know what to do. Throughout these two videos, I covered a total of 37 different types of flip resets. I tried my best to thoroughly explain every mechanic that I brought up, but if you still have some questions regarding specific mechanics, ask in the comments as I will read them all. There are some resets that didn't make the video because they are probably too uncommon. However, if there are still mechanics you would want a tutorial for, then ask in the comments. My intention behind this project was to create a video that could be used for the entirety of this game's existence. I wanted to demonstrate how much freestyling has evolved and how many unique mechanics have been invented by the community. Since I am able to do every reset myself after a few years of practicing, I wanted to pass down all my knowledge and the best tips I could give so that everyone who just started their journey with freestyling can improve at a much higher rate. Huge shout out to every guest that appeared and for their efforts put into this project. And thank you very much for watching.